Welcome to CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Dasgupta from Modak. We are partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Data Officers in a series of interviews. I have the pleasure of welcoming Dasgupta, who is the Chief Data Analytics Officer at Saatchi & Welcome, Das. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Baz.
If you can just give me a quick overview of kind of your role and what you do, and then just give a quick overview of what you do.
Sure. So my role is exactly what this conference is about, CDAO, Chief Data Analytics Officer. Also, there is another D that comes into the mix, which is digital. So you could call it CDAD, Chief Data Analytics Digital. So, this is an advertising agency which does everything from planning a campaign, figuring out target audiences, designing a story around it, planning media for it, buying media for our customers, and then campaign analytics reporting. So what we do for our clients is what we call the Moneyball team, which does pretty much what the movie Moneyball reminds you of, which is using, data and analytics and mathematical insights to do some predictive analytics on how the campaign will perform, and some prescriptive analytics on what to optimize your media with or your creative in combination with that media with. And then over the process of machine learning, we gradually improve that process of finding the right target and sending the right message, eventually to create a much more, pleasurable experience for the consumer on mind.
Okay, I like the Moneyball analogy there. Is really well put. And your role is, global. And how's that different to somebody who's more regionally focused?
So the one thing is that first of all, the organization is divided across the entire world, and there are different needs in different parts of the world. So, our Saatchi clients who are in UK, or clients who are in India, or clients who are in other Asian countries will have very different needs. However, the difference is from the more of a socio-cultural angle. What data does can be universal, because at the end of the day, the mathematical equation does not change. So what we are able to do is, scale data from a global basis, run our analytics, make our recommendations, and therefore, the only stakeholder that needs to come in there from a non-data perspective are people who are looking at those local markets. And therefore, they will be able to add the local nuances, the cultural nuances on the decisions. What we are able to generate is actionable insight, and that could be anywhere in the globe. In fact, it could be worked from anywhere as well. And therefore, at the end of the day, the actionable insights that will be applied will have a local color to it. So, the model here is that it's a horizontal service with local verticals, regional verticals, coloring their decision making based on what the data tells them.
Okay, I see. So kind of the horizontal view, and then localize, you're personalizing it really at the edge, giving that local connection as you go forward. And I see you're going to be a keynote at the role of the Chief Data Analytics Officer in driving resiliency and ethical and sustainable organization. What's the kind of primary message you want to drive home at that event for leading global organizations?
So this is for our field in advertising. Individual personal data is a gold mine. And as you know, globally, there has been, lots of different regulations, such as, GDPR in Europe and CCPA in California, that will not allow us to know who in the ecosystem is doing what sort of things and activities as they go in a buying journey as a consumer. But even if we take off all those personally identifiable information, or PII, there are methodologies that will allow us to create for a unique identity, something that will make it more relevant to the consumer. So my message there would be that respect the governance bodies respect the privacy requirements that we have, and then you will still be able to use your mathematical prowess to create something that's relevant for a unique individual without knowing their name and address and phone number.
Okay,
So
that's
that
great.
is a very critical need for the advertising industry, because it affects you, me, every one of us in this world right now, because as long as people have a cell phone or a laptop, or they're watching television, or they're doing social media, there is a device map that allows us to know, from a device ID or latitude, longitude, or IP address, or other usernames or whatnot, that they're volunteering on, who wishes to be in the grid or who wishes to be outside the grid. The whole challenge is for data scientists and engineers and data professionals to work together on making sure that we optimize our resources without violating a single constraint on the identity area.
Okay, so protecting the sovereignty really of the individuals and the privacy of that data, but leveraging that metadata essentially to drive better insights and personalizing and collecting a digital identity for groups of data sets. Always protecting the sovereignty is really key.
Right, exactly.
And so, what are what's the key calls of actions to business leaders really in these organizations?
So what happens with the business leaders is that, of course, a business leader should be looking at profitability as their key performance indicator, right? And to get to there is an existential crisis that has evolved over the last few years, as the big walled gardens like Google and Amazon and Facebook are protecting their individual identities of members and whatnot, right? So that crisis should not be taken as a severe crisis by the business leaders, because here we are, the data teams, who can help you get the answers you need. I'll give you an example. One of the things that we do in data analytics for the advertising and marketing industry is what we call segmentation, targeting, and positioning a message, right? The segmentation is that of an audience. Do I want to send this message to the whole world? Or is it relevant to only a few types of people who we call clusters? Yeah. And these clusters are usually done by what we call in data science k-means clustering methodology, that will allow us to take survey level responses or individual action-based responses, and then use segmentation strategies where they have rated something on a Likert scale, let's say between 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So that gives me the numbers about their preferences about certain products or features or functions. And we should be able to come up with those clusters and say, here are about 10 clusters of different people. Now, within those 10 clusters, maybe 3 or 4, maybe, they will have more market attractiveness, more differentiation for us to go target. So there is a methodology that we use there called McKinsey GE matrix to be able to target right. And then positioning comes with a lot of these, messaging processes, what will be more relevant to them. None of the above steps will be compromised without having true identity of a person, as long as I have observation number 1 said this, observation number 2 said this, etc., where there are no named actual responses, either surveys or activities that they have done, and still be able to give them those clusters along with the messaging, along with the targeting. So yes, we can provide you a solution. Now, media will need to go and buy that audience. And for those cases, media will actually have to go, and buy, demographics 18 through 49, male or female, and psychographics overlay that we are looking at using Parsonics clusters and other methods as well. So with that overlay, they should be able to buy media on that. We know who is watching which show. We know who is looking at a desktop, or who is browsing something in a web browser or their cell phones, without creating any identity leaks. We should be able to still be able to give you all that you need to stay profitable. So the business leaders should not panic about these regulations or issues. We should be able to provide a robust solution despite that.